Hey, everybody. I just wanted to take a minute to share with you something really cool that just happened. It just really inspired me and moved me, and so many cool things happen in my life. But anyway, this one just really moved me. I really wanted to share it with you. So, some of you know that 8 years ago, my mom passed. There was a lot of turmoil going in my life, and it was a hard time. And my mom is very spiritual, and her house was very spiritual. And there was a lot of spiritual magic happening around her passing and what I needed to go through in order to sell her house. And I ended up selling it to another really spiritual lady. That's a whole other story that I'll tell you sometime. It's an amazing story. But anyway, that was all happening. And when I moved into this house, when I finally kind of got through that piece of my mom's house and moved into the house that I'm in, I really had this feeling like it had just been flipped. And I felt like it was just all being prepared for me during this time when this difficult time when I was taking care of my mom. And it just gave me this sense of, that I'm held by the universe, and by all that was really taking care of me and making sure I had a place to go that was just perfect for me on the other side of that amazing, challenging experience with my mom and her passing and all of that. So, and there's a lot more to say to that story, including that I'll tell you later. But one of the pieces that I wanted to share also is that even when I had air conditioning installed in my house, I ended up hiring a team that was all Russian. For some reason, they were all Russian. And there was one man in the mix that didn't speak any English, and was always laughing. He was laughing all the time. I'd hear him in the attic as he's installing the AC, laughing, laughing, laughing. And underneath the house, laughing, laughing, laughing. I finally asked the crew, "What's up with this guy? He's so cool that he's laughing." And they said, "Oh, that's Uncle. Uncle used to be a Mongolian monk, and he now works for our team, and we all go to him when we have hard times, but he always reminds us to take things not so seriously, to lighten up and to laugh about things." And so one of the amazing things about my house is that it got blessed by a Mongolian monk. Also, there's lots of wonderful things about my house, but this new thing that inspired me, that did so moved me, is some of you know that when the pandemic started, I put out coloring pages from my coloring books at the end of my driveway for the neighborhood to take positive messages, a way to meditate and calm down, just some uplifting offering that I could make to the community of my neighborhood. For the kids and seniors and adults, for everybody to do while we were stuck at home in the pandemic. And that was really sweet to start to see these interactions with people in my neighborhood. Because of that, I met a lot of people I wouldn't have met otherwise. And one of the things that happened, it was so moving to me, I didn't expect this, but one day I came out on my porch and somebody had colored in a page. Obviously a child had colored in this page and left it for me and signed it. Cyrus had colored in this page. And then later I saw my neighbor showed me that on the Nextdoor app, Cyrus's grandma had taken a picture of my front window because I'd made a big sign thanking Cyrus for leaving it, his coloring page, which, by the way, was a coloring page that said "We all belong," and he colored that in. So I made a sign from my front window thanking him, and then his grandma took a picture of the sign and posted it on the Nextdoor app, saying that she had been really uplifted and inspired by this, and other people started leaving their coloring pages and for me on my front porch or in the little dispenser of the stand that I have that has the coloring pages in them. People would start to color pages and leave them in and sign their names. And that it has been so moving to me right there. It's just such a joy and an upliftment to me that I just thought I'd put out coloring pages for people, and then I'm having these wonderful interactions. Well, that all is inspiring. And then last week, I don't know, a few days ago, somebody left their colored in page, but instead of signing it, because people have just been leaving their names, they didn't leave a name, they put their house number on it. And I thought, this is so great. Now I know where it came from, and I can walk a thank you note down to that house and leave it for them. And how cool that I could do that. So, and I also wanted to make a new sign because several people had left their new pages for me, and I wanted to make a new sign for my window that included Cyrus and Fran and Christina and Grandma Dee and who else? Nathias and some others. And I just wanted to make a new sign, but I didn't want to put a house number on my sign because I didn't want to call attention to someone's house if they didn't want me to call attention to their house. So I thought, well, perfect. I'll walk a thank you note down to this house and maybe find out a name to put on my sign. So I walked down. I was thinking it would be this one house. I had that in mind. Nope, wasn't that house. Nope, wasn't that house. Then the house number turned out to be a house that I'm not familiar with. But I knocked on the door, and I could see that these two women were having dinner. And I said, I'm sorry to interrupt, and they were as they're coming to the door, one of the women said, I know you. I know who you are. And I said, you do? You know what? I don't know you. And she said, I have been kind of down, and I was walking through the neighborhood and I saw your coloring pages, and I thought, you know what, today I'm going to take one of those. And so she took it and she colored it in, and she said, and it was so moving to me and so helpful to me, and uplifting that you had put your website on there. So I went on your website. She said, when I went on your website and I saw your face, there was just something about it, and I started to cry. And I said, oh my goodness, that, I don't know, some connection, some recognition there. And she said, so I went back and I got 3 more pages, she said, and I looked up all of your stuff online, and I ordered one of your coloring books, and oh my goodness, but she said, but I didn't know that it was you living in that house. I just thought someone had kindly had this idea and made copies of your book pages and put them out at the end of her driveway. I didn't know that the author of the book was, there. And, but it has been so moving to me, and I just want you to know that. And she was standing there in tears because she was so moved, because she's been having such a moving experience with these pages that I put out at the end of my driveway. I just was so moved by that. And even more moved because then she said, and she introduced me, by the way, her wife was standing there with her, and so she introduced me to her wife, and she said, the two of us are Buddhists, and we used to know the woman who lived in the house before you did. Her name was Nobu, and she was also a Buddhist, and we used to have neighborhood meditation meetings at either Nobu's house or our house. And so she said, the house that you're living in now has such good energy because so many meditation groups happen there, so much heart sharing happened there. She said, I used to walk by the window, walk by in the mornings of Nobu's house, and she'd be in the window with her candle, doing her Buddhist prayer in the mornings. And she told me this, and it was just so precious to me to know that the house that I ended up buying, that I went through all of that with my mom and moved out of her very beautiful spiritual house and into this other very spiritually, energetically fluffed up house that was waiting for me. Just so moving to me. And it's so moving to me now as I'm sharing it with you. That, to know that there is this bigger picture that sees us and holds us, and is always holding us with open arms and preparing the way for us. And that all of these connections that we're, I'm sure, most of the time not even aware of, all of the ways that our lives interweave and intersect, and we affect each other, and what we do supports people that we've never met, maybe decades from now. Something that we do will touch or affect or move someone else. And it's just so enlivening to me, and opens my heart so much to know that that is going on. That's how life works, all of these interweavings and interconnections. And that what I do, what you do, we touch each other, and we're all here being held in this together, and holding each other without even realizing it. And so that was just the most recent way that the universe revealed itself to me and showed me that we're all interconnected. And I just wanted to share it with you. I so feel our connection and our interconnection, and I love you very much. Thank you for listening. And maybe I'll come back and tell you the story of my mom's house, which is it's a good one. It's a good one. All right. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.